Now back to Inside West Virginia Politics with Mark Curtis.
And we welcome you back to our final segment this week on Inside West Virginia Politics. We're looking at the West Virginia Treasurer's race. We've already heard from the incumbent, Democrat John Perdue. Let's hear from the Republican. We go to our studios, WDVM TV 25 in the Eastern Panhandle, and Republican Riley Moore. Riley, good morning.
Mark, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well, keeping busy at the Capitol, covering everything that's going on, including Politics 2020. Why do you want to be the state treasurer of West Virginia?
Well, Mark, you know, this comes from a place of a real deep and abiding, unadulterated affection and love for the people of the state of West Virginia and their future and the future of my children and their children as well. And I think that we need real change in the treasurer's office. We need more accountability, transparency, and modernization in that office.
Well, give us some examples of what you might change.
Yeah, I'd love to. So first and foremost, in terms of accountability, I'm running on term limits. I'd like to see all constitutional officers limited to no more than 3 terms. So we're able to ensure that there's new ideas flowing into these constitutional offices and we have new blood constantly in the system. Secondly, as it relates to modernization, myself, I started my career off as a welder, working in a mining operation. I'd like to see the 529 college savings account be expanded to the blue-collar workforce here in West Virginia, where they'd be able to save, to be able to use a savings account for equipment, certifications, additional training, whatever might be necessary for them to be successful in their vocation and trade. That was a real impediment for me when I was starting my career off as a welder, and that's something that I'd like to see is for us to not solely focus on the college, but what about our vocational schools and our students that are working in labor? And lastly, in terms of accountability, what I'd like to see is an audit, top to bottom of the office, because I do believe that there's duplicative responsibilities and issues that the treasurer's office is currently handling. I'd like to know what those are. And if we can save money for the people in the state of West Virginia, that's an absolute good thing and something that I'd like to be able to do if I were to be elected.
I've got to ask you about an issue currently facing the treasurer's office. And of course, you were in the House of Delegates when this passed, and I'm going to ask you how you voted on it. But the medical cannabis bill remains stalled. The treasurer's office is trying to come up with a banking fix to get banks that will accept these monies that are concerned about fear of federal prosecution if they handle marijuana money, even if it's for medicinal purposes. Where do you stand on trying to get this fixed, and how did you vote in the legislature on medical cannabis?
Well, first and foremost, I voted in the affirmative for that bill. If you do remember, Mark, the bill last year in 2018 that ended up passing this year was my bill. I was actually very forward-leaning on medical cannabis program in West Virginia. And so I think it's very unfortunate to see this delay from the treasurer's office, no matter where we might stand on the issue. The law is the law, and there's been a long lead up to this issue as it relates to banking, and to see the treasurer not be able to execute what the legislature has mandated, as well as the governor, by signing that bill, I think it's an unnecessary delay, and I think it's something that needs to be alleviated immediately.
All right, well, I'm sure it'll become an issue in the campaign unless it's resolved before then. We want to thank Riley Moore, Republican candidate for treasurer of the state of West Virginia, for joining us today from WDVM TV in the Eastern Panhandle. Riley, best of luck to you on the campaign. We'll be following you, and we'll have you back again as the campaign gets started in earnest in 2020, okay?
Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. And everyone, you can please follow my website, moreforwv.com, and I look forward to seeing everybody around the state as we get to every county. Thank you.
Well, you're going to be on the air this Sunday in every single county in West Virginia. We again thank Roddy Moore, and we'll see you all back here next Sunday on Inside West Virginia Politics.